What drastic change should Descendants fans prepare for? Why are the cast members calling the fourth installment super wrong? And why are some fans canceling Disney after they announced Descendants 4? Hi, I'm Janet, bringing you all the insider scoop on the great return of the Descendants. The end of an era? If you were under the impression that Descendants 3 was the final movie in the franchise, just know that you aren't alone. Let's throw it back to the final moments of the third movie, shall we? Now, if you're a real Descendants stan, then you'll know that the movie famously ends with the words,
"You didn't think this was the end of the story, did you?"
And well, those words were noticeably absent in the third installment of Descendants. Fans across the globe had fully prepared to say goodbye to Mal, Evie, Jay, and Carlos forever. The end of an era was upon all Descendants fans. And then, the powers that be over at Disney Channel brought some of the most important entertainment news of the year. The Descendants chapter isn't closed just yet. A new direction. Disney Channel just announced that we will get one last chance to say goodbye to our favorite cast members, as they have officially announced that they will be bringing the Descendants back. But with quite a big twist. This time around, don't expect to be seeing real-life characters, as executives decided to turn the fourth installment of the flick into an animation. Yes, you heard that correctly. Descendants 4 is no longer going to be a live-action film anymore. So, you may be wondering why the franchise went from live-action to animation. Well, it's for two reasons. The first being the absolutely tragic passing of Cameron Boyce, who played Carlos DeVille in all three movies. The 20-year-old passed away from an epileptic seizure that he had in his sleep. Given the fact that he was, and still is, an integral part of the storyline, the real-life version of the film wouldn't work without him. And so, an animated version seemed to make more sense for Disney. Executives on the show also said that they wanted the final film to go out with a bang, and turning the much-loved franchise into an engaging animation seemed like the perfect idea. Too bad some of the cast members don't feel the same way. Cast thoughts. So, we know how the executives over at Disney feel about bringing the famous films back, and they may be happy to see that one specific cast member is totally on board to lend his voice to the final film, Mitchell Hope. What's not to love about Ben? He has super famous parents. Shout out to Belle and Beast. And his singing voice that was, rather interesting to say the least. Thankfully, Mitchell isn't tired of playing Ben either. I love playing Ben. He's just such a pure, benevolent character, and it always makes me feel nice. Kind of changes my behavior, shared Mitchell. When you play a character, you kind of subconsciously start adopting a few of those traits. So it was always really nice playing Ben. And so if it wasn't clear, let the record show that he is totally game to return to Descendants, even if it means he will only be lending his voice to the film. Mitchell also shared how it would be smart for Disney to bring the film back, especially since fans have been oh so vocal about how they missed the cast. And well, it seems like they heard our cries. However, while Mitchell warms up his vocal cords in preparation to get into the studio, Dove Cameron is less than enthusiastic. Dove Cameron. Now, we honestly can't imagine any other actress taking on the role of Mal other than Dove Cameron. She absolutely kills it. And while producers of the famous franchise are just as obsessed with Dove as we are, it looked like for a moment there, they would have to do another open casting call for Mal, since it didn't look like Cameron was very keen on returning. So why was Dove ready to say goodbye to Disney? Well, it has everything to do with Cameron Boyce. As we know, the Descendants cast aren't just co-workers. They're exceptionally close, which is probably why the films did so well. You could tell that they were all genuinely close and not just acting. And well, Dove just doesn't see how the show can go on without Cam in it. In a vulnerable interview with Hollywood Life, Dove shared how she is still struggling to come to terms with his death. The heart-wrenching moment almost broke her, and fans got a glimpse of her pain in a video posted to Instagram where she shared her thoughts on Cameron.
You are all I can think about. My heart aches for you. I'm broken for you.
After hearing that Disney wanted to bring the film back for one last final round, she was less than keen. In fact, she found it kind of distasteful. What happened was so incredibly heart-wrenching for all of us, and something we could not recover from, Dove admitted to Hollywood Life. I think that the idea of making another movie, while it would be nostalgic for all of us, and while it would be healing in a lot of ways, it might also be super wrong, shared Dove back in 2020. The 25-year-old actress also spilled the beans that Disney had originally decided to cancel any future Descendants films after Cam passed away. So she was rather surprised that they'd wanted to bring it back all of a sudden. Dove also shared how she was curious to see how they would maintain the storyline without Cam. But with all of that being said, it looks like Dove has had a change of heart. Taking a little walk down memory lane, she recalls how deep her love is for the show's director Kenny Ortega and how Disney ultimately launched her career. And so, returning to the franchise that made her famous may not be such a bad idea. Sofia Carson. It looks like Sofia shares the same feeling as Dove. Carson shared how she is forever grateful to Disney for casting her in a 3-part film that not only completely changed her life, but brought her some of the best friends she has ever had. Did you know that Descendants was also Sofia's very first job and first movie? Crazy, right? So it's easy to see why she gets sentimental when talking about Descendants. That being said, she has already said her goodbyes to the franchise, especially after Cameron's death. I couldn't imagine doing it without him, she also explained to People magazine. But I appreciate that people love the franchise so much that they would want it to continue. I love Evie, but it's the core 4 forever. And while Sofia isn't too keen on being Evie again, looking back on a few interviews that she did last year, it looked like there was a glimmer of hope that she would want to return. Sitting down with J14, she shared how she would be willing to reprise her role in Descendants. If it went on Broadway, that is. She said how this would be a fun twist for the film, and that it would be a great way to continue on with the story. So we take it she's more for a Broadway version of Descendants than an animated one. Thankfully, Carson has agreed to be a part of the animation, and we cannot contain our excitement that she eventually changed her mind. It just wouldn't have been the same without her. Sarah Jeffrey. And it seems that Sarah feels the exact same way. It seems that the 24-year-old star is just as grateful for Disney Channel as the rest of the cast. And while she would love to return to her famous character Audrey, she thinks it could work if it is a fun little spin-off. I feel like Descendants 4 could totally happen, but also a spin-off could happen with new characters and new daughters and sons of princesses and princes and other villains, shared Jeffrey. That being said, she has full faith in Disney's executives to absolutely nail this animated version of Descendants. And so, she is super keen on being a part of it, especially since Audrey still had a lot more to share. In fact, Jeffrey even shared a couple of storyline ideas with the executives, saying that she's nudging them to get a gal pal for Audrey in the film. Going from the mean girl to the heartbroken girl, Jeffrey thinks it's time that she gets a few best friends now, and we are happy to sign up for that role. Anyone else keen on being Audrey's BFF? So fear not, Descendants fans, Jeffrey is definitely going to be in the 4th flick. The plotline. How excited are you that your travels to the magical realm of Auradon aren't over yet? Now, we know that the 4th film is going to be an animation, but here's where things get even more exciting. Descendants 4 is bringing the whole entire theme with it. The 4th and final film is called Descendants: The Royal Wedding. Yes, that's right. The special will bring viewers back to the United States of Auradon and feature Mal and King Ben's royal wedding. That's right, get ready for a wedding that's shaping up to be the social event of the year in Auradon. The special will also feature a little nod to Cameron Boyce too. Don't worry, Carlos will still be a part of the film in some way. This animated royal wedding film will not only help heal the Descendant-sized hole in our hearts, but introduce a new chapter of compelling Descendant stories and characters. Make sure to start planning your formal wear looks for the wedding, because before we know it, the big day will be here. Fans weigh in. Okay, so given the recent Royals interview that Oprah had with Harry and Meghan, any talk of royal families may seem like a touchy subject. But thankfully, the Descendants are giving us some fun fictional royal drama that everyone is so ready to see. Well, maybe not everyone. Since Disney announced the release of Descendants: The Royal Wedding, some fans have expressed that they'd be giving the 4th flick a clear and obvious miss. One look at the comments section proved how many felt that bringing the film back would be disrespectful after Cam's passing. Many even began to say that the Disney franchise should be canceled for trying to continue with the films when Cam is no longer a part of it. Some fans even said that they were happy for the films to end after the 3rd installment, so bringing it back just felt forced. Internet trolls also called for Descendants 4 to be canceled, as they claimed that Disney was just trying to capitalize on a franchise that is clearly over. Other Descendants stans expressed that they, quote, hate the idea of an animation and think it is an odd direction for Disney to go in, especially since everyone had already grown comfortable seeing the cast in real life. Thankfully, there are two sides to every coin, and some fans are so down for this spin-off and being reunited with all of their favorite characters. But we want to know what your thoughts are on Descendants 4. Do you think an animation will work? Will you be tuning in for the premiere? Let us know in the comments section below. Oh, and don't forget to check out our full YouTube channel, as we plan on dropping some major Descendants tea soon. Thanks for watching!